Hey guys, Kaido here. I'm a Challenger Journaler on the North American server. I'm currently Challenger in Season 14, and I'm the highest ranked Kha'zix player on the server. Kha'zix has been one of my best champions since I've started playing this game, and I'm going to show you how to climb on this champion. It's going to be as detailed as possible, but please ask down in the comments below if you have any questions. Now let's get into it. So yeah, these are his pros and cons. Overall, I think this champion is very fun to play, and very easy to pick up. First, let's go over his evolutions. Even though this champion has been released for so many years, people still struggle to know which evolves to go in their games. So I simplified it for you guys. The first one is for your high kill games. You have your Q evolve in the first one for your early game, and then your E, which helps you get resets. That will allow you to get those high kill games. The second one is a utility-based evolution route where you will evolve your R or even your W first, depending on which is better for the game. And yeah, you play for the team fights, you buy a lot of space with your W evolve and your 2-second stealth in your kit. And then lastly, you got the most standard of them all. You got your Q for your early game, your W for your mid game, and then you go either E or R, depending on which one is better in the late game. Now, what about builds? Your core build would be Yumu's, Hubris, and Profane Hydra. I like Yumu's a lot because it gives you auto combat move speed. The champion does a lot of damage to targets are isolated, so having move speed, being able to be anywhere on the map to make picks is a lot more valuable to me. Then you complement Yumu's with Hubris and Profane Hydra, which are some of the highest damage items, and finish it off with any defensive items like Adrenaline, or build more damage items like Grudge or Serpents. And the runes you would take with this would be First Strike or Dark Harvest. First Strike is your standard rune page. You get free boots, Det, and Cosmic, and pair it with Sudden Impact and Treasure Hunter or Relentless Hunter. I prefer Relentless Hunter in most of my games. Now we have Dark Harvest, which I would take in games where you feel like you can drop a lot of kills, so against very squishy comps like say like 380 carries for example. And your evolves tend to be Q into E, because those help you to drop those high kills, or you can just play the standard evolve route, QW. And you can pair with Triumph and Coup, which gives you more damage, more gold, or you can take some scaling option, which is Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. And lastly, for the players who have always enjoyed Bruiser Kha'zix, there is a new build this season that I think is really strong for the current meta because of very broken items like Frozen Hearts. And these would be the runes you would take. You can choose between Coup or Last Stand. And for your secondary, you can take Domination or Inspiration. Inspiration is more for a stable game, and Domination if you think you can abuse Relentless Hunter, or if you want more income, you can take Treasure Hunter. And the build you would pair it with are Sundering Scott, Cleaver, and then any situational items, tank items. Right now Frozen Heart is very broken, so you would definitely build Frozen Heart. But just remember, sometimes you might go Sundering Scott into tank items because it might just be better for the game, and you build Cleaver later on. You would usually evolve R into W, or even W into R into your last evolve for this build, because you're playing for a very utility-based style. Now let's go into the matchups. Usually good matchups for Kha'zix are champions you will just pretty much out DPS at all stages of the early game. But of course some matchups you might have to play differently, like dodging J4 CC, stealthing when Mastery is trying to auto attack you, etc. And now for skill matchups. These matchups are actually hard to play, and it takes a lot of experience and practice playing against them. And over time you understand how to play these matchups. These skill matchups tend to be very kill or be killed type matchups, and if you fall behind, the game will seem pretty fucked to play. Don't feel too disencouraged when this happens. In time you will understand the mistakes you've made when you got behind in those games and prevent that from happening in future games. I would suggest reviewing those games and watch what the enemy journal did to screw you over. And now the bad matchups. These matchups are usually pretty bad to play, but you can beat them when you hit level 6 with Q Evolve. You would have to outplay some of these champions, like for Rexa dodging her CC knockup. Lee Sin, you can do a trick where you ult his ult, and you cancel his ulti, and you will be able to get another Q cast off and be ahead in the damage department in the 1v1. Your goal in these matchups are to try to scale and get to the teamfight stage, because you do outclass all these champions in the teamfight stage by a pretty big margin, except maybe Xin Zhao. I'll do a detailed matchup guide in the future. Like and subscribe for more content. Now let's look at gameplay. This early game is pretty simple. You want to get to level 6 pretty much and get your first evolve, like your Q evolve, to help you farm faster, to duel, do objectives, or you get W or R evolve, and then you can become a pretty good utility champion in the early game. So your mid game on Kha'Zix, you just want to keep looking for picks, especially isolated picks, because that's where you do the most damage. And you want to just keep running around the map. And that's why I like buying Yumus on him, because I want to be pretty much anywhere on the map, and the enemy should feel afraid to touch sideways versus Kha'Zix. And usually assassins are very good at playing on sideline, because people would tend to be 1v1, 2v, or it could be a 2v2 setting, so that's where you are strongest. Pay attention to where vision is being placed, so you are unseen when making these plays. And now for team fighting, later on, you will probably be at 3 evolves at this point, so you most likely will have double evolve for sure. Depending on which build you do go though, for Bruiser, you can do engages like this where you lead with W and you slow them, and your team can follow up to help you in the fights. And then for lethality builds, you just have to be aware that you are a pretty squishy champ, so be careful of getting CC'd, because you should most likely get one shot when that happens. But you can also buy tools like Edge Deny to help you play more aggressive and not get CC'd. And you want to keep looking for flanks, and make sure to try to reposition if you need to in fights. And make sure to use fog, basically where there is loss of vision for the enemy team, because that is where you're the most deadliest in those situations, because they won't see it coming. Just remember, in the late game you have some of the best teamfight tools, as in your W, which is an AoE slow, or your 2-second stealth with 3 charges. And lastly, we will look at Kha'Zix combos. His first combo is WEQ Auto, which you use when you have the element of surprise. Next we got Auto WQ, or just WQ Auto. It's better to WQ because it is faster than Q doubling, as shown here. And now for double jumping, which is pretty easy and looks pretty cool. You just E, then Q midair, then recast E when your target dies. My final thoughts on this champion is that he's one of the best jungle champions to climb on. He's pretty easy to pick up on in terms of gameplay and build. He's very strong in low and mid elo because he can stomp nukes pretty hard. Players in those elos usually have no idea how vision works, and they don't work well in group situations. So assassins tend to just run that elo range. That's all I have for today's video, but I helped you learn a thing or two. If you have any questions or comments on today's content, feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.